let's get into the Ethan Page, Trick Williams stuff because this is good. This is very, very good. So let's talk about this. So, oh man, where do I begin here? So, last week, the big news coming out of the show, aside from the Jordan stuff, was that Ethan Page had came into NXT and attacked Trick Williams. And that's sort of how he closed out the show. It was a big moment. Everybody was like, oh shit, whatever, right? It was a big moment. Now, the follow up. I think they did an extraordinary job today on NXT with the follow up to Ethan Page. And the reason I say that is because coming out of the show, I was thinking, thank goodness. Thank goodness. And I'm emphasizing the eyes, guys, because it was not looking very good for Trick Williams in the sense that he had no real challengers for his NXT championship. And by that, I mean, there wasn't anybody that was so interesting that people here were clamoring for. Like, nobody here really cared to see Trick Williams and Noam Dar. No one really cared to see Trick Williams and Joe Coffey. They didn't want to. Nobody was, I mean, maybe there was probably like one or two people. I'm sure there always is. There always is, right? But it just wasn't interesting stuff. It really was not. And I was sitting here talking about how I just did not care for what they were doing with Trick Williams's NXT championship picture. But then at the same time, I felt bad because there really weren't any alternatives. Like, there were a few, but those people were either in another storyline or they hadn't had enough of a build or whatever the reason was, right? It just was looking very, very slim. And we've talked about how the men's division was sort of starting to feel like it was sinking, like it was completely being overshined by the women's division. We've talked about this so many freaking times. And today, Ethan Page did so much for this title picture. Of course, we're still going to need more dudes because by the time Ethan Page, whether Ethan Page becomes NXT champion or not, you're still going to need more competitors for either champion, all right? Whether it's Trick Williams versus Ethan Page, you're still going to need more dudes, more hot challengers, okay? But right now, for this moment in time, we're good with the story that they are going with. So, man, so Ethan Page throughout the night is saying that he is a free agent and Ava is trying to sign him. He has issued her his terms on what he wants in order to become an NXT superstar. Cool. They decide, or rather, Ethan Page decides that he wants to have his contract signing out in the ring. And this sort of irritates Ava because she normally does these contract signings in the back like a professional. And instead, he wants to do it with everybody there. Now, the promo that Ethan Page cut, I also want to give a round of applause because this promo was really freaking good. Very freaking good. I don't even remember the last time I heard Ethan Page cut a promo. It has been so long since I've heard Ethan Page cut a promo. Guys, I was not watching Ring of Honor religiously. In fact, I don't even think I was watching it sporadically. So that should kind of tell you how long it had been since I had heard Ethan Page cut a promo. Whenever his last promo on AEW was, that was the last time I heard it. And if it was on Rampage, I might have missed it. So there you go. But anyways, so he comes out and he cuts a really good promo. He does so much on this. One, he literally brings up the points that you and I have been talking about on this show. He brings up to Ava, you need to sign this contract and you're going to basically honor the terms in this contract because you know you have to. He brings up that when the draft happened, 8 of NXT's top superstars were drafted. For the men's, those top ones were Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, Dijak were the main ones for the guys that got called up to the main roster. They were your title scene. That was both of those guys, Carmelo and Ilya, were your former NXT world champions, and they were involved in the main title picture for a very long time, for several months of NXT. And so now they're gone, and it was pretty much just Trick Williams there in an island of like, all right, let's see who else is there. And so Ethan Page is not lying when he talks about there being a void on NXT and him being the one to want to fill it. He talks about wanting to be the face of NXT for when they go to their new home, the CW. Love that. He's right. He was so right on all of this, in that there is a spot to grab right now. There is an opportunity to become the face of NXT. Right now it's Trick Williams, but that needs to be enhanced, and that needs to be enhanced through his reign. And the only way his reign is going to be enhanced is through the challengers and the feuds and the stories that he is telling as NXT champion. So, good stuff there from Ethan Page. And then he kind of threw a shot at AEW. And here's the thing, guys. I love when we see talent from AEW throw shots to WWE. And so WWE to the AEW, hey, bring it on. I love the drama, guys. So this is what Ethan Page says. He says, quote, because he talks about there being a lot of money on this contract. He says, quote, I could have sat my ass at home for the last 2 years and collected a check, but I ain't about that. Ethan Page wants the opportunity. Simple. Very, very simple. It wasn't like a terrible shot, but you know what? That's just his truth. That is Ethan Page's truth. And so him bringing that up and mentioning that here, I thought, oh, so it's like we're looking at this through the other side of the lens now. So I thought that was a really cool little line to throw in. Again, I like the drama from either side. I'm here for it. So finally, Trick Williams comes out and he tells Ava, you need to give this man what he wants, because I want a chance to whoop his ass. And Ava is still a little hesitant because that would mean he would get a title shot at Battleground. And he's like, Ava, you've known me. Let's freaking do this. And so they're doing it. Battleground. We are getting Ethan Page versus Trick Williams. Now, predictions on this. I'm sort of at a loss here. I feel like this one feels even way more unpredictable than the Roxanne Jordan Grace match. Man, I don't want to see Trick Williams lose the title because he just became champion. Like, this is his first major defense as champion. I don't want to see Trick Williams lose because Trick Williams is hot. Like, you guys heard the people. They were cheering for him. They were rooting for him. That building shook when he won the title. So I'm looking at this and going, damn, I don't want it to end so soon, especially not so fast like this. But at the same time, Ethan Page winning would be freaking awesome. It would be freaking awesome. You don't want to see him lose right away. I get that. I 100% get that. So I'm sitting here legitimately torn. I don't know which direction they should go in. Again, you know what? I do know which direction they should go in, because at the end of the day, you don't want to rush things, right? You don't want to rush things. There's a great story that you can tell here with Trick Williams and Ethan Page. This doesn't have to be a one and done. This doesn't have to be a one-time thing. They have the time to tell a full-on story here with Ethan and Trick. They really do. I'm going to go with Trick Williams retaining here. That's the direction I'm going to go with. Trick Williams retaining. And I feel like they can continue to tell a longer story here between both guys. And I'm saying this right now, I don't have too much confidence. I don't have too much confidence in how I'm feeling right now with what I think they're going to do. But screw it. I'm going to go with my gut once again and say that Trick Williams is somehow going to retain. And him getting a victory over Ethan Page, ooh, that's going to be good. It's going to be very good.